Okay, everybody, thanks for attending this DABCC Live webinar. I'm really excited about today because this is a follow-up webinar to a previous webinar we did with the folks over at SmartX who make an amazing technology called ControlUp, which, well, I'll let Yoni explain. And but the feedback was so amazing last time, and the attendance was so amazing that we wanted to do another and just continue diving deep into this technology. So that's what we're going to do today. And I have the right guy on the line with us, Yoni. Yoni, can you give us a brief introduction of who you are?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, hi Doug. Thanks again for this opportunity to educate, kind of promote some of the ControlUp features to our community. My name is Yoni Avital. I'm the CTO here at SmartX, and we are the creators of ControlUp. It's a real-time management solution for RDS, VDI, Citrix, VMware environments. And as you just mentioned, today will be a deep dive webinar on some of the script-based actions feature we have in ControlUp. And yeah, that's all about the intro.
Perfect. So, and then guys out there listening or watching, please, as always, with the DABCC Live webinars, and especially for this one, we're really going to drive off your questions. So Yoni has tons of things to show you, but please ask your questions. Use the questions piece of GoToWebinar, and I will answer, or I will receive those, and I'll ask good old Yoni here, and we'll make sure we get you answers, and he'll show you in the whole 9 yards. So nothing's off limits. Please feel free to just ask away. And on that note, Yoni, you ready to get started?
Yeah, great. So let's get and just to stress out what Doug just say. Keep asking questions. It usually makes everything much more interesting, more interactive. So feel free to interrupt anyway using the GoToMeeting questions section or any other way you seem appropriate, and we'll make our best to answer your question in real time. We are obviously real time guys. Right, so today's, as I just said in the beginning, today is all about ControlUp script-based actions. Before that, we'll do a very quick overview of the main ControlUp features, just for guys who might be the first time they're seeing the console. We'll do it very quickly for like, I think 2-3 minutes. But by the end of this webinar, basically anyone watching this webinar will be able to configure any management actions available for their SBC or VDI environment, and basically turn it into a built-in ControlUp action. And this is what script-based action is all about. So just to make things a little bit easier, from this moment on, I'll use the term SBA. This is our internal name for script-based actions. So SBA, script-based action, this is the term we'll use from now. So let's start with a quick overview of what ControlUp can do, and then once we finish this, we'll start the deep dive. So you can see what you're seeing on screen now. This is the ControlUp management console. As I mentioned, this is a real-time management solution designed specifically for RDS, VDI, XenApp, view environments. And basically, it allows you to see in real time everything happening on your network. So everything from the data center view all the way to a single process or application screen running on your end user sessions. And just to give you a quick taste of what our real-time views can accomplish, I'll give you a quick, quick overview of the real-time views. So first, the view you're seeing on screen now, this is the computer's view. So in here, we basically see every managed computer is being represented as a single line on the grid here. And we can display in real time a bunch of useful information, anything from static information like the OS version and CPU count, memory, uptime, and similar metrics, all the way to specific real-time performance metrics. And we start with basic information like CPU usage and memory usage and number of concurrent users, but obviously we display specific vendor information. So, for example, if I'll go ahead and focus on my XenApp 6.5 farm in the lab, you can see that the column set is basically changing dynamically to show me specific XenApp information. So, in this case, I can see in real time the worker group each server is attached to, the current data collector for each zone, and obviously relevant performance metrics for XenApp environments. And continuing the same concept, I can go ahead and focus on the XenDesktop 7.5 environment. We have here a XenDesktop 7.5 lab, which includes both VDI and RDS workloads. And again, for this specific environment, we can show specific XenDesktop information, like the desktop state, the group name, catalog name, basically anything needed for real-time monitoring and management of a XenDesktop environment. Now we go beyond Citrix. We also support VMware View, Horizon 6, which hopefully will be out in a few months, native RDS, Windows Server. So basically any end-user computing related object can be managed and monitored by ControlUp. Now, we offer some extensive drill down capabilities. So whenever you see an issue in ControlUp, you can always drill down on a specific object and go all the way to the process level. So just to show you a quick example of this, if we, for example, see now a XenApp server with experiencing some kind of stress level, we can always double-click that object and drill down further into the user sessions layer. So this will show us the actual users currently running on that server with real-time performance metrics. So this could be the CPU usage of each session, the memory usage, ICA latency was an important user experience metric, and other variables. Now, if we detect, a specific session that might experience some issues, we can always drill down to the session and see exactly which processes this end user is currently running. And in this example, I can go ahead and double-click one of the test users, and you should see the available list of metrics we provide for each process. So this goes all the way to CPU, memory, and in the next release, we're also adding I/O information per process. So the real-time views, the drill-down capabilities should enable you a very quick performance troubleshooting experience and seeing what's going on in real time in basically any end-user computing environment. Now,
hey, Yoni, I have one quick question, and it makes sense to ask it now, so I will. Are each of the targets fixed servers or virtual servers?
So we basically support both, right? So we support both virtual servers on any hypervisor or physical machines. So both of them are supported.
Perfect.
Now, basically, from day one, ControlUp was always more than a monitor or view-only solution. We always included management operation, management actions, which were able to enable any ControlUp admin to execute a wide set of management actions right from within the console. So basically, whenever you right-click an object in ControlUp, a server, a computer, a user session, or anything, you can always execute a wide set of actions, anything from refreshing the group policy, doing some power management, comparing different areas of the Windows operating system. So you can always react and dynamically change and manage your environment right from within the console. And this was a very popular feature right from the early days, from ControlUp 1.0. And what we have seen in the last couple of years is many requests from the community asking to expand the available built-in management actions. So, we kept getting requests from Citrix admins asking to add XenApp or XenDesktop related actions, sysadmin asking to add actions like deleting a user profile, clearing the temp directory, resetting IIS. So, a huge number of requests. And what we're basically, that instead of keep adding more and more built-in vendor type of actions, we went to a completely different direction, and this is what we call script-based actions. So script-based action is basically the ability to add any action, any management action, right into the ControlUp console and execute it as any other action. So it's obviously based on scripting, and we'll see it soon enough. But the main idea behind it is to virtually extend ControlUp management abilities to include anything you can dream of. Right? Since we support PowerShell, I think it provides endless possibilities. And the purpose of today's webinar is to show you, to do kind of a deep dive on the script-based action feature. We'll show you how to create a new action, how to use some of the advanced arguments and execution context options in ControlUp. We'll show you how to execute actions, script-based actions on different workloads. We'll also show you the community section, which already includes a very impressive library of pre-made script-based actions. And obviously do some summary and Q&A again throughout the webinar. Right, so the first thing I want to do, I want to show you an example of how we can create and use SBA and actually execute it on some XenApp 6.5 servers. So, you know, before the webinar, we kind of did some internal thinking on what would be the best example for this. And we remember the situation in one of our customers where we encountered a PVS issue, provisioning services issue. Basically, the issue was that some target devices kept disconnecting from the target device storage, which obviously caused the XenApp VM to freeze. And apparently, the only way to actually capture this issue was via the event log. So we found that a few minutes before the actual issue appeared, we saw a specific Windows event appearing on the Windows event log. So we came up with I think, a very useful SBA, which will enable you to quickly verify if a specific event was created on your managed computers, and also see the count, right, to see how many times this event appeared and on which servers. So in this note, what we'll do now, we're going to create a new SBA, and we'll call it simply count Windows events. Right, so the screen you're seeing now is basically the new script-based action screen. This is the first step in creating what we call an organization script-based action. So once we finish this quick wizard, the new script-based action will be basically available to any ControlUp admin in your environment. So as I just mentioned, the purpose of this specific SBA is to count Windows events on multiple servers and display the output to you, the ControlUp admin. So obviously I give it a name. The next mandatory step will be to configure the assigned to field. Now the assigned to field is actually a very powerful option in ControlUp SBA, and this allows you to choose which object the actual SBA will run on, right? Will be assigned to. So obviously we have the computer object, which is relevant for this specific SBA, meaning that we're going to count Windows events on computer objects. But as you can see, we have some more advanced options like session or process. So you can create script-based action which will run direct user sessions or processes. And later in the webinar, I'll show you some examples for these kind of SBAs. Now, in addition to choosing the assigned to field, I can also configure the execution context. So execution context actually means where the actual SBA will run, right? So in this specific case, we are going to run the script on every target computer, on every managed computer. It's going to be, by the way, simultaneously, meaning that even if we choose 20 XenApp servers, the script will run simultaneously on all of them. And as you can see on screen now, we also introduced some more advanced execution context. We can run the SBA on another third-party computer. We can run the SBA inside the user session. So again, as before, we'll show you when we finish this example. We'll show you some other script-based action examples that actually use other execution context. But for now, we'll choose the target computer. And last but not least, in this screen, we have the security context option, which actually tells the SBA which security context will be used to actually execute the script. So for now, we're going to use the default, which is local system. And this is a pretty powerful feature because it actually used the ControlUp agent local system context to execute the script. And I think anyone which is using PowerShell to do some management knows that by default, you can use your own admin credentials, but the ability to use the local system credentials to run scripts is very powerful. It allows you to do some actions that are not available for admin sessions. The next step in creating the script-based action is to actually write the actual code. So the first step here will be to actually choose the relevant script type. As you can see on screen, we support, I think, most popular scripting languages. We have obviously legacy batch scripts. We have VB scripts, but the most, I think, relevant one is PowerShell, because as most of you probably know, all major vendors now fully support PowerShell as a management platform. And obviously Citrix, VMware, and Microsoft, they kind of expose all management actions through PowerShell interface. So what I'll do now, I'll show you the actual script. So I am going to copy the pre-made very simple PowerShell script we have prepared for this example. I'm going to copy this and paste it into the SBA window. Okay, so just a quick explanation of what we're doing here in this script. So as I mentioned before, the purpose of this script is to actually count specific Windows events and show me how many times each specific event occurred on the managed servers. So in the first place, we're going to configure some arguments. So the arguments will basically enable us to choose which Windows event we want to monitor, or we want to report the output. After configuring the arguments, we're going to actually get those specific events. So we're using the get event log PowerShell commandlet, and we're feeding it with relevant arguments like the Windows event log name, the specific event ID, the relevant event source, and the date filter, which will be based on the number of days we want to go back. And then we're obviously going to count the actual events. So we feed, we get all the specific events and we're counting them. And obviously the last step would be to actually write the count as the output. In this case, we'll use the SBA output window to show you exactly how many times a specific event happened on each managed computer. So going back to this SBA wizard, I'm actually typing or pasting the actual PowerShell script. And as you can see, I have basically 3 or 4 arguments I have to create. So this screen is in charge of writing the actual code, and the next screen will be used to actually configure the actual arguments. So in this case, as I mentioned, we have log name, event ID, source name, and date filter. So clicking on next will allow me to configure the arguments. Now here we can see, looking on the argument screen, we can see one additional very powerful feature of ControlUp. So we fully support arguments for any script type. And as you can see, we enable you to use 2 types of script arguments. The first one is pretty unique, and this actually enables you to choose any real-time system or performance metric and feed it to the script as an argument. So this has endless possibilities, I guess, and the list you're seeing here is based on the object you chose before, right? So what we're seeing right now is the list of all the computer properties. So remember, you're going to execute the script on ControlUp managed computers. So in here you can choose basically any computer field and use it as a script argument. And later I'll show you some examples of that. But for now, since we are going to choose or manage Windows events, I'm going to actually configure the script arguments. So first we're going to use the log name, right? This is the first argument, so let me quickly copy it here. We can configure defaults for every argument. I will leave it blank for this case. Now, one other important element of the argument feature is input validation. We enable you to use regex, or regular expressions, in order to validate the input, the user input, when you're actually typing in the arguments. So in this case, I'm going to use a very simple regular expression, which basically will force the ControlUp admin running the script to provide either strings or numbers to each field. So log name, this would be the first one. The second argument will be obviously the event ID. So we'll provide a specific event ID to the script. And in this case, we're going to use a more advanced regular expression, which will basically validate that the ControlUp admin is using a specific only numbers, right? Because event ID only expect numbers. The third argument will be the actual event source. So in this case, we can provide the script with the event source of the event we want to monitor. And again, we'll use a very simple regular expression. And the last argument we're going to configure is the actual days, meaning that what we want to achieve here, we want to basically enable the ControlUp admin to choose how many days back ControlUp will check the event log for the occurrence of that specific event. So looking on the final argument list, here we basically provide 4 arguments to the script. And again, since we want to see the Windows event count, so the arguments will consist of the log name, event ID, source, and how many days back we want to monitor. So that's it. Once we configure the PowerShell code and the relevant arguments, we can finish. And now we have what we call a new draft SBA. Now, just to quickly understand what we're seeing here, when we initially creating a new script-based action, by default it's switching into the draft area. Now, the draft area is important because it allows us to test the new SBA on our environment, without exposing it directly to all other ControlUp admins in my organization. So as long as the SBA is in a draft mode, we basically have 2 limitations. One, it's exposed only to the ControlUp admin who created it, and second, it can be executed only on a single Windows computer. So let's see how it looks like. So now I'm going to basically right-click and manage computer in ControlUp, and the script-based action is always located on the bottom of the available management actions. Now you'll see once I browse the script-based actions, you can see the count Windows events. So I'm going to execute it on a single target computer, and I'm going to basically input all the relevant fields. So in this case, what I want to find how many service crashes I had on this specific computer. So I'm going to find event ID 7031, which basically will tell me how many service crashes I have. Service Control Manager. This should be the actual event source, and I want to find out how many service crashes I had in the last 7 days. Right, so once I click on OK, basically the SBA is executed on the target I've selected. So you see now this is the SBA result screen. It's a pretty advanced screen which enables you to see a lot of data on the actual script. So obviously, since the script is still in draft mode, we ran it only on a single computer. And we can see the results on screen right now. So the script ran successfully. And the output, which is in this case the most important info on the screen, is saying 2 events. Now, since I searched for 2 7035 events, this means that this server in the last 7 days experienced 2 service crashes. Now let's see how we can make it even more useful by finalizing the actual SBA. So now that I validated the script, now that I finished validating the script on a single computer, I can simply go back to script-based actions. Click on the My Draft Actions window. Let's make sure we have everything here. Okay, let me just quickly change this. Okay, so now we can see that the SBA is still residing in the draft section. So in order to finalize it and be able to both execute it on multiple targets and share it with the rest of the ControlUp admins, we simply click on Finalize. For now, we won't share it with the community. We'll show this feature later. And Finalize and click on OK. Once the Finalize process is finished, you can see we have a brand new organizational action. So I'm going to switch to the organizational action pane, and you can always search for new scripts. So there you have it. We have the new count Windows event script in the organizational action section. So now we can do something more interesting, right? So remember the example before. We want to basically count a specific Windows event on multiple servers at the same time. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to select my entire XenApp 6.5 farm. So it's basically 14 different XenApp servers. Right-click on all of them at the same time, and again switch to the script-based action section, and basically launch the count Windows events SBA. Now, once you see the count Windows event screen online, obviously this is a very general SBA, right? You can use this specific SBA to monitor specific Windows events on multiple servers, and you can choose any event you want. Again, for this example, we'll use the service control 7031 event, which is pretty important because whenever a service is crashing in your environment, this event will be logged. So this is a quick way to check how many service crashes you had in your environment on each server in the last 7 days. So I'm going to click on OK. And now the results screen will be a bit more interesting because, as you can see on screen, the results screen will show me the parallel execution state on my entire XenApp farm. And here we can see, I think, a couple of interesting facts. So first, you can see here we have groups. So these are what we call results group. So what we do basically, we group by all the similar outputs to similar groups. So what we see here right now is we have two groups, meaning that out of my 14 XenApp servers, we have two distinct outputs. One, which is I think let's say the healthier one, is the 0 events found, meaning that on these, I think 10 servers, we haven't experienced even a single service crash in the last 7 days. But if you look on group 1, we can see that on those 4 servers, 2, 6, 8, and 10, we see 2 events in the last 7 days. Now this actually means that on these 4 servers, we have exactly 2 service crashes in the last 7 days. And again, you can use this concept for any event or basically for any script-based action. So the output window is a very simple, easy way to analyze the script results. Now, one other interesting feature inside SBA is the ability to execute the script on different ControlUp objects. So what I'll do now, I want to show you 2 things. So let me quickly go back to the count Windows event SBA. So we're now going to basically change the execution context to include also ControlUp folders. Now, one thing I want to show you, please notice the version, right? The version number. Right now it's 0.2.3. Whenever we change any property of the script, the version will change. And this is a great way to keep track of your script changes, do some versioning, which obviously do not exist in regular out-of-the-box PowerShell scripts. So I'm going to change a very simple property. I'm going to change the execution context, the assign to field to advanced. And this will allow me to choose additional execution, additional assigned to objects. So I'm going to choose both computers and folders, and this will enable me to execute any, in this case, this specific SBA on the entire folder. Right, so once I do that, I can click on OK. I'll go ahead and quickly finalize the draft. Now, once this change is completed, I can still obviously choose specific servers, but I can now also choose the entire folder, and I can run script-based actions directly on entire silos or folders. And this is obviously powerful, especially if you look on other SBAs like the one I'll show you in a minute. Right, so this is a quick overview of how we create a new SBA, how we can assign it to different objects, how we can use the arguments option. And obviously this is a specific example, but you can utilize this, I guess, this workflow to create any imaginable SBA for your environment.
Hey, Yoni, I have a quick question for you. Yeah, can you talk about the difference? Here's if I can read the question properly. Can you describe the differences between executing the script in a script in just regular PowerShell versus through ControlUp?
Oh yeah,
is there a difference?
Yep. Yeah, of course. So in the end, the same PowerShell code will run on the target computer. However, there are quite a few differences which make, I think, running PowerShell script via ControlUp much more efficient, simpler, and easier, right? So we've already seen some of the advantages. So one thing, selecting targets is much easier, right? So when you write a simple PowerShell script out of ControlUp, you have to manually feed the script with the targets, either from a file or from another, pipe it from another script. In ControlUp, you simply select, the real-time objects, computer sessions, and simply execute the script. So this is in regard to target selection. Another thing we already saw is what we call parallel execution. So when you use, again, built-in PowerShell scripts, the script will run asynchronously on each target you selected. So if you have 100 servers you want to execute a script on, you have to wait for the execution of the first one, then the second one, the third one, and so on. Right? It might take a lot of time to execute the script. When you do it in ControlUp, it's actually run parallel on all target computers, making it much more fast. The execution is much faster, obviously. And we can go on and on. We have arguments. You have seen the built-in arguments. So, to feed a regular PowerShell script with an argument like the session idle time, it's quite, hard to accomplish. In ControlUp, it's simply a matter of choosing a built-in argument and feeding it to the script. And I think last but not least is all the context features we provide. So in addition to the regular admin context, we provide local system context, we provide user session context, and obviously where to run the script. We can do it directly inside the user session, we can do it on the target computer, and these are all options that are missing from traditional PowerShell scripting. And one last thing is the actual output results. So the grouping option we saw enabled you to quickly analyze script results, which is a bit more complex when you run a regular PowerShell to look on it on the actual command output. Yeah, so hopefully this will answer the question. Now I want to move on and show you some other script-based examples that can show you the power of the ControlUp SBA feature. So one thing I want to show you, we have a pre-made script called Enable XenDesktop Maintenance Mode, and this is a very straightforward day-to-day XenDesktop management action, which basically enable maintenance mode on selected computers. Now, as you can see in this specific example, we are using the other computer execution context method. Now, this means that we can trigger the script via ControlUp, but once we trigger it, the first thing we need to do, we need to choose a third-party computer that will actually execute the script. And this is a very powerful option because think of the following example. In order to actually run the enable XenDesktop maintenance mode script, you have quite a few prerequisites. You need the XenDesktop PowerShell snap-in. You need obviously access to all the XenDesktop targets. And all of these prerequisites are obviously available on the actual XenDesktop broker. So when we enable the other computer execution context, we enable you to run ControlUp on your own management PC, but when you actually execute the script, you can choose the other computer method, choose the XD broker as the one instance that will run the actual script, and then you basically bypass all the problematic prerequisites like installing the XenDesktop PowerShell snap-in, making sure you have direct communication with the XenDesktop targets, VDI, RDS, whatever, and making it much easier to do that's basic XenDesktop maintenance mode functionality. So just to show you how it looks like, I can go ahead and focus on some of my XenDesktop 5 targets. And when I do that, I can go ahead and choose, let's choose in this specific example, we'll choose a few Windows 7 targets. Now, when I'll go ahead and execute the enable XenDesktop maintenance mode SBA, the first thing that will happen is, again, since we chose the other computer method, the first step will be to actually choose the other computer, right? So I'm going to execute it. And as you can see, I'm presented with two prerequisites. So one is choosing the actual executing computer. And again, in this case, I'm going to choose the actual XenDesktop broker. In this case, this guy here. And the other option enables me to choose the credentials. And this is another very powerful script-based action feature. Right? So the execution context and security context features enable me to execute PowerShell scripts via a third-party computer, and I can choose any credentials I have previously configured. And by the way, the credentials can also be obtained from untrusted domains. So imagine you're a ControlUp administrator managing multiple forests, and we see it a lot in service provider scenarios or in very large enterprises. Again, unlike traditional PowerShell scripting, we enable you via the credentials option to choose and be able to execute PowerShell scripts on untrusted domains right from your own management endpoints, regardless of your actual domain membership. Now, another example I want to show you, which is pretty advanced and gives, I think, a lot of value, is a script-based action for the actual user sessions. So let me show you how this looks like. Okay, so we have a pre-made script-based action called IE-URLs. And this is actually a PowerShell script which is intended to run directly on user sessions. Now, just to understand the scenario, we obviously know that many XenApp and XenDesktop environments are basically allowing users to browse the internet. And we all know that that iExplore or basically any browser can cause a lot of performance issues when users browse specific sites. Now today it's pretty hard to know specifically which browsers or which browser sites are causing issues. So in ControlUp you can obviously drill down all the way to the specific process view and see exactly which processes are causing performance issues. But assuming the user is now browsing 10 different sites, you want to find out exactly which browser site or which URL is connected to a performance issue. This is what the IE-URLs is all about. So the actual code is some pretty advanced PowerShell commandlets You can always, double-click the script and see exactly which PowerShell code is being used. But the interesting thing here, I think, is the assign to field, because this specific SBA is assigned to the session object, meaning that whenever we are going to execute this specific SBA, it will be executed on the user session object, but more importantly, it will run inside the user session, enabling us to gather information which is quite hard to obtain using any other method. Right? So again, think of traditional PowerShell scripts. They will be run under your admin account context. So you can't actually get data from inside the user session. But in this specific example, once you choose the user session execution context, this means that the actual SBA, the actual PowerShell code, will run inside each selected user session, enabling us to get the actual IE URL information. So to show you how it actually looks like, let's go ahead and choose a few sessions with some browsers running inside them. So again, I can always choose multiple sessions, and this is what I'm doing right now. I will right-click those sessions and simply execute the IE URL script-based action. And as before, this PowerShell code will run inside each user session and should show me exactly which URLs are currently open inside those sessions with PID info and some other relevant scenarios. Okay, so I've just executed the script on a few user sessions. Hopefully they have some browser windows running inside them. Great, so let's see what we have here now. So the output, in this case, as you can see, we have 3 groups, meaning that we have different output for each user session. And let's see what we have here. We have here a very educated user currently browsing Wikipedia. Okay, and you can see here actually the actual window title on the SBA output. Right, and this is, so we see the first user is browsing a specific Wikipedia page. This is actually what our automated edge site-based users are doing. Looking on the other group, the other session, we can see now a different page, right? This is another random Wikipedia page. And obviously the third one will be obviously a different title. Right? So this is a very effective SBA, allowing you to quickly see in real time the full list of URL and window title of each user session running on a XenApp and desktop, or even, I guess, a physical endpoint session. And again, we are currently utilizing the advanced options of running inside the user session, using the user session context to get valuable data using a PowerShell code. So again, you can obviously always, manually run a PowerShell code inside the user session, but it's not really, I guess, practical when you're now managing 1,000 user sessions. You want to find out exactly which, which browser windows are causing performance issues in your environment. Okay, so hopefully by now you're already familiar with some of the advanced features in script-based action, allowing you to create basically any management action you want, and using our context options or arguments options to create some valuable scripts of your own. Or what I want to show you now, and this would be, I think, the last part of the webinar, I want to show you some of the built-in community actions we have in ControlUp. So how do you get there? So once you click on the script-based actions, the default screen would be community actions. And what we see here basically is a list of all the available community actions in ControlUp. And this could come from basically 2 sources. One is scripts that we write as a vendor. So we have here a team at SmartX who creates script-based action based on popular demand. Users keep asking us to create scripts, and obviously we do that all the time. And another option is ControlUp admins. When they create a script, they can always share it with the community. So, to show you how this can be done, it's very simple. let's actually go ahead and share the show you how to share the count Windows events SBA we created earlier. So this is the count Windows events SBA we created in the beginning of the webinar. It's as simple as that, right? Just click on share. We can do this either anonymously or leave the credit to you, which is, I guess, more recommended. And once we'll accept the terms, we can simply click on OK. And in the background, what's happening in this specific SBA is being uploaded to our community action database. We obviously sanitize this as the vendor. We're making sure that the code is valid. We're doing some tests in our lab, making sure that everything works on all types of target devices, and then we release it as a new community action. So let's explore some of the built-in community action we already have in ControlUp. So you can always search the community library. You can, for example, type XenApp to see some of the built-in XenApp actions we have. So we have some valuable actions already available in the library right now. You can change the XenApp logon mode using the built-in SBA. You can remove a server from all the published applications. You can create a published desktop for each server, manipulate worker groups. So all of these are available for any existing ControlUp user, right? Just go to the community action library, find the relevant one, and as you can see, if something is not already installed, it will show you a green add button. So just click on that. I'll show you how easy it is. Just click on the add button, accept the terms, and add the action. And in the background, ControlUp will download this new SBA to your organization, making it available to execution for any ControlUp admin in your environment. Now, one important element, which is again, I think, a very special SBA feature, which is not similar to traditional scripting, is the delegation feature. So once you create your own organizational action or downloading a new community action, you can always use our security policy mechanism to delegate those specific SBA to Active Directory groups in your environment. So now showing you the security policy screen. Whenever you add a new script-based action into ControlUp, it will basically be listed in here. And you can see now this is the new script-based action we downloaded from the library. So you can use the built-in security policy, the built-in permission delegation model, and assign or basically delegate this specific SBA to your helpdesk team, to your sysadmin team, or to a specific ControlUp admin in your environment. And again, this is something which I think is very valuable, because if you think about it, sometimes you have one or two very talented scripting guys in your organization who create scripts, but because they lack the option to delegate it, they keep it for themselves. But once you use ControlUp, you can easily delegate those advanced scripts to other teams in your environment, allowing them to do some more advanced and simple day-to-day operations without breaking the existing scripts or invalidating any security policy you have in your organization. So obviously everything we saw, we showed you so far are examples, but hopefully by now you can understand some of the features and powerful features in the SBA option. And this is just the beginning, right? Any ControlUp admin can create any script he wants, test it on a single computer, make sure it works, and then share it with your entire organization. We keep creating new script-based actions. We try to write blogs and tweet about any SBA we do. So keep looking on our script on our website. We already have a very extensive list of built-in actions. Use them in your environment. And one other thing I want to note is that to let you guys just use that, we have a request a script option on our website. So if you think of any management script which is relevant for ControlUp, just use the website request a script option, we'll obviously we keep reviewing all the requests, and anything that makes sense, we're creating it as a new ControlUp script-based action, a community action, and this should be readily available for any customer looking at the ControlUp script-based action section.
Yoni, that is impressive stuff. That is very impressive stuff. I had one comment from that sent directly to me. The exact comment was, "Damn, this tool has become powerful over the last few versions." So gotta love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have to agree. Yeah, I think this is one of those features which really makes sense for any advanced admin out there, right? So you can obviously choose to to keep using the built-in actions or the community actions, but once you understand the power behind the ControlUp script-based action feature, you can use this framework or use this platform to really create some advanced management actions, delegate to other team in your environment, and basically make life easier for everyone, I guess. End users, helpdesk teams, anyone out there in your IT.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. I love it. Hey guys, if you have any questions, we have a few more minutes. Please use the questions piece to go to webinar. So ask away. Yoni, anything else you want to share with us, or give us more information on how they can download, eval, and things like that, the product?
Of course. So the easiest way obviously is to simply browse to our website. That's let me show it to you on screen right now. So it's basically smart-x.com. Just go there, download ControlUp, and you can start using it in your environment. No prerequisites. Just run ControlUp on your management endpoint and start adding relevant XenApps and desktop, VDI, basically any computer you want to monitor and manage. We are going to present some new features down the road. Hopefully, we're working very hard now on the new release, ControlUp 4.0. So some more data on that will be available in the upcoming, in the next couple of months. We are going to present some of it in E2EVC, which should be this weekend in Brussels. And obviously VMworld and all the major end-user contributing events. And yeah, I think use it. Use script-based actions, request new scripts, create your own script, share it with the community, and this should obviously help the entire community to make use of this new feature.
Perfect. Okay, I have a couple questions for you. Somebody asks, how did you get to the rights page? He missed it. Can you show that real quick?
Yeah, simply here in the panes, just click on Security Policy, and it will bring you to the permission delegation mechanism. So it's that simple. Just click on Security Policy.
Perfect. And is there a way to change the argument names, as in not $ARG, open bracket 0 in close bracket? That's not easy to read, is it? How do you read that?
Oh, yeah. So obviously the arg0 stuff. This is the actual code inside the script. But if you look on the arguments option, you have a caption for each script. So this is the actual when the ControlUp admin will see the actual argument, he will see the caption. So this is a display name, right? This could be anything you want. The arg0 stuff is basically the internal code which will be inside the script. But the argument caption we present on screen is the actual caption, which is a display name. You can basically type anything you want there.
Perfect. And he says, so that is no?
So yeah, just maybe to be more clear, the $arg0, this is how PowerShell needs to get the arguments, right? This is a PowerShell thing, similar to arg0 in VBScript or any other scripting mechanism. But as you can see in this example, when you once you actually run the script, the actual caption displayed on screen will be enter worker group name in this example. So the actual, the ControlUp admin running the script will not see, will not see the arg0 stuff, see the caption. And by the way, you can use any, any other variable inside the script. You don't have to use arg0. You can use any variable you want. But again, the variable itself will not be displayed on screen, just the caption.
Okay, makes sense. Well, I think that's all the questions for now. If there's any other questions, please ask them right now. Otherwise, Yoni, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. Oh, he says I got one more. So he's. I imagine that means he's typing the other question or the question right now. We'll wait for that question. Yoni, thank you so much. This is great, and definitely, guys, I did record this. Hopefully, go to a webinar. We'll produce the recording. I tell you, that's the worst feeling when you close down the webinar and you wait for the thing to render. You just sort of hold your breath. Okay, here's the question. Is there any prerequisites for PowerShell, for example, on target machines?
Well, again, it depends on which PowerShell code you use. But for example, if you're creating a PowerShell script that requires for example, the XenDesktop snap-ins, then you have to load them inside the script. So yeah, the answer is the prerequisites depends on the actual code you're running, but you do need minimal PowerShell support on the target devices. And if you're using in the code various snap-ins, you have to load them and make sure they're available on the target devices. Just to show you an example of something similar, in here, for example, we are loading the Citrix XenApp command snapping for this specific SBA. So obviously, on the machine executing the script, you have to, make sure you have this snapping available.
Perfect. And then I had somebody ask us, can you share the link to some of the free tools? Can you maybe open up your browser and share that, or show us?
Oh, yeah.
Or that'd be great. You guys make some great stuff.
Yeah, so first, I haven't mentioned it before, but ControlUp itself is free if you manage up to 50, 50 end user sessions. So the entire product, all the features you've seen so far are available as a free product if you manage up to 50 user sessions. And if you go to our website and browse to the products ControlUp script section, you can see all the PowerShell, all the available scripts. You can see the code, and you can copy and download, use it. So it's completely available for the entire community. Any new script-based action will be listed here in this web page, and you can use it for your own, for your own environments. Go ahead and feel free to use this.
Perfect. Well, Yoni, thank you so much. We're right at an hour, so we made our time. Didn't go over. Pretty impressed. Okay, so thanks each and every one of you guys for listening or watching, I guess. And Yoni, thank you so much. I'll get this thing posted here in the next couple days, and we'll go from there. Thanks, everybody.